motion that council appoint these two candidates, these very well-qualified candidates, for the two of the three open positions. And I would place that in the form of a motion that we do appoint Bill Ahern and Susan Ingalls to that committee. That would leave us with one open spot, but it would certainly help to go ahead and have these two people in place. So I do put that in the form of a motion, David.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I'm glad to have him on the tree committee. We've been without 3 people for quite a long time, and 2 more is gonna be great.
Susan, your mom will be very happy you're doing this. Maybe you can recruit somebody else.
I'll work on that. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. You are now on the tree committee.
Good.
And we have no other reports or agenda items.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor.
thank you, Councilman High. All right, under new business, the town of Edenton and St. George Church Historic marker. On November the 22nd, during a regular scheduled committee meeting, the mayor and council agreed to submit to DOT encroachment agreement on behalf of St. George's Orthodox Church. The agreement would allow a historic marker to be placed in front of the church property between the sidewalk and the curb and gutter. DOT approved the agreement on December the 2nd, and the next step would be to require the town council to make a formal agreement between the town and the church. This agreement will place the maintenance and upkeep responsibilities to the church and limit the town to only installation or removal if needed in the future. And so I will entertain a motion to go forward with that.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
And so, just as a follow-up, this is step 2 of this process. It's a 3-step process, and the only thing now that we have the DOT encroachment agreement from the state, we have the agreement between the town and the church as far as whose responsibilities who. The last thing will be simply a minor certificate of appropriateness, which our planner will, be able to do very simply.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, the next thing is a budget agreement, or budget amendment for the fire department pumper truck. On August 10th, the council approved the loan funding agreement with Truist Bank for the purchase of the Pierce Enforcer pumper truck, but a capital project budget ordinance was not adopted at that time. And this ordinance will allow us to move forward with the project. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to do so.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I forgot to ask any discussion, any further discussion. Opposed? Motion carried. So, Corey, move that forward. Okay, the next is a budget amendment for the sale of the airport timber property. This amendment will recognize the sale of the timber at the airport with a portion of the revenue paying the loan from the general fund in full this fiscal year and remaining balance to be expended on maintenance repairs for the airport terminal.
It's
Corey, anything to add to that?
So this is very interesting. So there was an outstanding balance owed to the general fund, which the timber sales does allow the airport to repay, which is a huge positive. But also, just as a general update, the logging operation has begun, and they have been out there for almost, this will make week 2, and they're making a really good stride on getting things done. So they contractually, they are really showing their due diligence to get to that February cutoff date. So they're
Bateman Logging is doing that, is that correct?
yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Did they go back and rebid for that property, or did they accept what they wanted to give us?
We didn't go back for rebid with the time window that we had on getting the bids back in. We accepted the original offer, that Bateman, give us.
Yeah, I think if we all had wished that it was a better price, but if we put it back out for rebid, we'd be in danger of not meeting the February deadline,
Mistake project for one-way,
and
one-way.
we'd lose the project. Yeah. And I've got a question, just a general question, and just to confirm some things that I assume, and just so the general public would know. From time to time, the airport does have to borrow some funds from the general fund, and this is gonna allow the airport to repay that loan, their most recent loan in full, so they're back to zero with us, is that correct?
That is correct. The original, loan was around $18,000 that the airport fund borrowed from the general fund. They had paid back, upwards of $4,000 towards that loan this fiscal year, and this sale will allow them to net zero that loan. So that is correct.
Corey, it seems like a good part of the money goes toward maintenance and improvements in the building. Do we have an idea of what that's going to be used for?
We do not at this time. The way the financial laws work is that funding did have to stay within the line items of the airport. Now, this doesn't mean that money will get spent, but this is the best option to place the funds.
Okay.
Any further discussion on this matter? If not, I'll entertain a motion to pass it.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right, next is the budget amendment for the airport loan repayment. This amendment will recognize the repayment of the airport loan from 9/8/2020 in the amount of $14,400, and will allow the police department to purchase the reality hardware system that is needed for the virtual training of Volo Wrap. And Corey discussed part of that as he was talking before. So, any discussion on that?
And the only thing I might add here is we went through the sale of the timber as well as the loan repayment from the airport. But I did want to share, just a brief update from the police department traveling and training. The $14,400 that was transferred from this, debt repayment, will help them with the purchase of the virtual reality simulator. And I personally, went last Tuesday or Wednesday and experienced that, and this is mind-blowing technology. It is unreal, the options and the outcomes to help our police officers be able to respond correctly to various situations. And so Chief King is very excited to have this tool for new and existing officers that we may be bringing onto the force.
I haven't seen it, but I understand it's very well worthwhile.
Yes.
Will the chief give another bolo wrap demonstration? That is really interesting.
Yeah.
It's
I think we can
quite
do
a
that.
thing to see.
And I think it's a great extension of conversation that we had with Chief King, spring of 2020, when we asked him to come and report to us on what ways the Edenton Police Department is trying to improve our relations with people they are dealing with who might be turning violent or might be representing a danger, in ways that we could react in a non-lethal manner. And this is an example of what we said we wanted to do, and also an example of what Chief King said he was going to be looking for, is ideas and products and strategies so that we could react in a way that would be non-lethal to the people we were dealing with. So I think it's a good sign.
I think our chief does a good job of keeping up with the new technology and this type of thing, which we certainly need to do. So
Just so they know where the bolo wrap is on the belt,
Don't mistake it for something else.
And that is part of the training opportunity that is built into this program. Not only do you have your firearm as a tool, but you also have your bowler wrap as well as some of your other non-lethal type weapons to use. And what was really good about this is Chief was able to negotiate with the vendor to get more users so people can, we can have a greater number of folks that can actually save their data and see what they did well at and what they didn't do well at.
Do you know if that, once it's expended, is it reusable or what?
The bowler wrap itself,
Yeah.
it is a one-time use,
That's what I
the
thought.
cartridge is.
Yeah.
But you can practice all you would like on this virtual reality system, and it's identical to what they actually would carry in the field.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve this.
Pleasure.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right, the next thing is the 2021 Tree City USA application, and I believe that's signed and sent off.
Yes.
So, there's no action required on this.
I wonder how many communities have done this as long as we have. I mean, this is 42 years.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I can find out. We're
That's interesting.
probably one of the top municipal systems as far as longevity goes for this program. But that was submitted in last week, no action required by council tonight. But I can find that out.
42 years is a long time to carry on that tradition, and it's great that we have had the ability and the stamina to do that, so that's great. Okay, the next on our agenda is item considered timely and important. Anybody?
Just one thing, Mayor. Corey, do you think we'll be able, after the first of the year, to get back to looking at the other board vacancies, planning board, historic preservation commission, board of adjustment, getting them back in line?
Yes, so, just within the last 2 weeks, Tammy and myself, as well as Elizabeth, who seems to have a great number of vacancies on some of the boards that she's a part of, we went through and identified all the term limits that were expiring and all the existing vacancies that we had, and we will continue to solicit applications for all of the applicants that we have. We knew that the tree committee was in dire need to be the first one to get those vacancies filled because of how long they only had two people on. And then we also, Roger and I had met in November, and we wanted to start the year fresh with the mayor's task force. So we will work through the next boards that we have, and whichever ones has the most vacancies, we'll start getting those filled as quickly as we can.
And Corey, our employees have received their COVID bonuses, for lack of a better word, so that they can use those for the holidays.
Yes, those and their longevity were both submitted.
And Mayor, I would like to wish this council, the mayor, and admin staff, employees, and citizens all a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Thank you, and those two sentences as well.
Do we get a bonus?
No.
Hey, you want a longevity bonus?
The short answer is no. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to raise a concern. Last month, the council approved a statement indicating that a decision on the future of the Confederate monument would not be made until the North Carolina Supreme Court made its ruling. Because we don't know when that ruling might take place, Councilman Bond and I would like to see this statement modified to indicate that we, as a town council, affirm the recommendation of the Human Relations Commission that we are committed to moving the monument conditioned upon the guidelines established by the court. In other words, we commit ourselves to the movement based on the law that, and the regulations that are handed down to us. So I would like to get this before the council and have us consider this and see if we can't add this, or modification to the original statement that was made.
Well, we have a statement prepared for us from our attorney. And, gentlemen, we have no decision to make but to follow our attorney's recommendation. That's what we pay him for. So I will read to you and to the public what our attorney has prepared for us. Superior Court Judge Jerry Tillett issued a preliminary injunction halting the removal of the Confederate monument in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, pending the resolution of the Winston-Salem Monument case, which is now pending before the North Carolina Supreme Court. The Town Council would like to settle the issue regarding Edenton's Confederate monument once and for all. Once the North Carolina Supreme Court rules on the very law the Town Council is aptly, then at that time the Town Council will move quickly to make a decision consistent with the law as set forth by the Supreme Court. The Town Council is following the advice of our town attorney.
I understand. My concern is that we have no idea when that ruling might take place, and we take what we all understand to be a major decision on behalf of our residents, and we put it in a situation where we have no idea when that might be settled. I think we could still make a statement that we affirm the movement of the monument conditioned upon that ruling by the Supreme Court, and we would at least let people know where we stand as a community and what our commitments are. I don't think we lose anything by that, if that's the direction we want to go. If we wait until the Supreme Court rules, and let's say it's 9 months down the road, then what are we going to do?
We're gonna do what the Supreme Court ruled, that's what we're gonna do. I mean, they may rule that we can move it, it may rule that we cannot move it. But we have to abide by whatever they say.
Well, I think we could go ahead and commit ourselves to movement dependent upon that decision. I think that would make us look like we had control of the issue, that we were concerned and that we were aware of the importance of what's going on. Otherwise, it looks a little like we're procrastinating. I know it's difficult, and but I'm trying to come up with a way that brings people together rather than simply allows people to begin taking sides and attacking us. And we've got so much going on in this town. The Cadiz restoration, the Hayes Farm, the Harbor Ferry, beautification of our waterfront. It just seems like dealing with the monument needs to be put in with the overall changes that are going on in our community. And I'm not trying to be argumentative debate, that's what I feel strongly about.
And Mayor, if I can comment.
Please.
Procedurally, I'm just hearing about this for the first time, and we don't have a motion to amend the agenda before us, and I don't think it's good practice for us to vote on things when we don't have notice of them. So procedurally, I think it would be proper for Councilman Bond and also Councilman Coleman to make a request that this be on our next session for a vote, that it be a properly noticed agenda item. We could think about individually what our response would be to your request, and then it'd be put forth as a motion and a second before this governing body at that point in time, so that we all have notice, so that the general public has notice, and so that we can give some thought to it. But I would like to address the suggestion that it's procrastination on our part. I feel very, very strongly that this is the one council that has had the guts to address this issue, and I take strong offense that we're procrastinating on anything. I, for one, and I think there are several people here that agree, I'm not going to let this issue flounder. I'm not going to allow this issue to be swept under the rug. We're going to address it.
Oh,
I want to address it. The time has come to address it. I think this council is committed to addressing it, and I want people to know that. And I've seen a lot, I've heard a lot of accusations, and I've read a lot of accusations in writing that I take offense to. We are the council that has had the courage to bring this issue up, and I believe this council has the courage not to let it just pass away without us addressing it. But I do think the proper way to do it would be, as I've suggested, that it be placed on the agenda as agenda item, that it be placed as your motion or Councilman Bond's motion, and then seconded by the other, and then let's talk about it.
So we're looking at January.
And we
We're
may,
stating January, is that what you're looking at?
yeah, we may have some news by then. We may have something to report on the consensus of this council, because I do know that we are moving forward towards building some consensus. At least that's what I feel. I may be incorrect on that, but I feel like we're moving forward to a resolution that a lot of people might be pleased with. I don't know, but I think for us to take a vote on it now would be
I understand.
improper.
It
Yeah.
can't be. Corey and I talked about that, and I think the idea that if we place this on the agenda, the next meeting would be accepted.
Okay. That's what I'd recommend, Judge, and I think the person who's brought it up has agreed, and I don't want to put words in Councilman Bond's mouth, but I think as long as he knows it's gonna come up.
You know, if we take a vote now, you still can't do anything until the Supreme Court.
Exactly.
Right. So, let's put it on January to talk about
What does it hurt?
it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I
You good
think
with
we
that?
need to talk about where it's going,
I just
how much it's gonna cost, what we're gonna put back there, get all, I mean, I think, put a budget item in for each amount for the movement and all that, and, really do it right instead of piecemeal and get, consensus. And if the Supreme Court says you can't move it, nothing we can do about it.
Okay.
So we have a plan.
We've got a
We
plan.
got a plan.
We got a
I
plan.
think that's what a lot of people.
We
All
do
right,
have a
anyone
plan.
else up here have anything to bring up
That's helpful.
that's timely and important,
I'll give you an account.
that's important?
One more question. Excuse me, you mentioned that we were funded with the community block grant
Yes,
application. Is that the neighborhood revitalization program?
that was the 5 homes that Elizabeth
Yeah.
presented back in October.
Is that going to be publicized at any point? That's a major funding.
We will,
Yeah.
we just got the awards letter, yesterday morning. And, we will make that announcement public, as well as reach out to the property owners, that were the recipients of that award.
All right, now it's time for the public comment. Does anybody have any public comment, or Tammy, is anyone next door?
I'll make a public comment. Can I just
Go ahead.
volunteer to do it now? I just want to comment that I really appreciate this council's courage in moving on the statute, and I especially appreciate your point, Councilman Coleman, that the citizens want to hear that you are being responsive. And so that, I think it makes a difference when we know that even if it seems like you're moving at the pace of molasses in January, you have committed to action in January, and I appreciate that. In the other room, I mentioned that my family's been here 300 years, and so that did include an ancestor who actually got up Company A, the first North Carolina company to trot off to the Civil War, and he himself died in it. He was known, Tristram Lowther Skinner, as a Southern gentleman. And many of us have ancestors who were known as Southern gentlemen. He was a man of his time. I do not think he would have recognized for a minute when that statue went up that it had anything to do with the cause he died for. He would have seen that it was going up in response to another time. It was not the same. And so that is my thought of the moment and my comment, but my point is I appreciate y'all taking action, and I look forward to next month's decision to take the darn thing down. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, that concludes our agenda for tonight. Make a motion.
So move. I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
I'll second that.